today. Today is Wednesday, June 28th, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, the whole entire purpose of starting a vlog is because my punishment was to watch a horror movie in my most recent TBR game for the month of July. So today I am actually going to be watching Creepshow with my husband. It's a Stephen King movie. Well, okay. It's actually a comic book series that Stephen King read when he was a kid, so he wanted to write a movie based off the comics. It is a horror movie. It's supposedly a little bit tamer, so my husband thinks I can handle it. So that's cool. Book update is I finished where the Crawdads sing last night. I'll put a picture up here. I believe it's Delia Owens or Della Owens that writes that book. So what Where the Crawdads Sing is about is Kaya Clark, who her whole entire family throughout a couple of years slowly start to disappear from her life. First it's her mother and then her siblings because her father was abusive, and then one day her father just doesn't show up. So from the time she's 6 years old, she's just living by herself out in the marsh, and she's pretty feral. It's different than, you know, living in a city or living in a more suburban area or city area. It's harder to maintain laws, and it talks about how a lot of prisoners actually hide out, like prisoner escapees hide out in the marsh, and that it's a pretty wild area where she grows up and lives her life. The locals call her the Marsh Girl, and she becomes kind of like a legend of this wild minx girl just out in the middle of nowhere surviving. So when a murder happens, she is kind of a lead suspect in the murder just because of who she is and how the city views her. The closest city, that is. Like, there's a city probably like 30 minutes away or something. And it's really, really sad. It's very emotionally provoking. It is also very beautifully written. There's a lot of descriptions of nature, and it talks really about in depth about loneliness. It's just, it was just written so well. It's a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend the book. I am so glad that my local book club picked it, because I don't know if I would have read it otherwise, and it is honest, it's like a favorite book for me now. I am reading 3 books currently. I'm reading The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I am over halfway. I am absolutely loving it. It's really, really relevant to what's going on today, in today's world, with Roe versus Wade being overturned by the Supreme Court. It's really crazy. I am a pro-choice woman, and it's very important to me to, you know, fight for my rights and for other women's rights. And this book is really putting things into perspective for me, making me think about things and just be wary and understand what's at stake. So I'm hoping to finish that soon. I am also reading Captive Genders by Eric A. Stanley. I'm going to be spending the next couple of days really getting into it because I've just started Captive Genders. It's about transgender prisoners, what happens to them in prison systems, how they are treated, and what happens to them before, during, and after prison. It also focuses quite a bit on African American transgender prisoners, as the author is African American himself. So I really found it important to read for Pride Month, and it's why I picked it up. June is ending, so especially these last couple of Junes, I'm going to be just solely focusing on that book, and that's really important to me. I did just pick up Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert. That is the second book in the Dune series. I didn't want any more time to pass before I picked up the next book. I did read Dune in either November or December of last year, and I actually really did like it. I did enjoy the first book. I was reading about the second book in the series, and it was actually not well received at its time when it was published. So the first book was very well received when it was first published, and then the second one wasn't, and then the third one was once again very well received, just like the first one. And the second book is super short. It's only like 200 pages, and reading about it, I would say that it was one of those books that's supposed to be written between the novels. Frank Herbert realized that he wanted to write a series, and so he felt he needed to put into the record things that could be loopholes before he continued on to Children of Dune, I believe is the third book. And so he wrote this very short novel just to fill in the gaps, and I think that's why people didn't love it as much, because it's not like a full-on fleshed story. It's more of just world building, kind of setting the foundation, making sure the foundation is, you know, strong and firm as he continues on with the book. So I am going to be reading the book with that in mind and keeping an open mind and not expecting it to be as good as the first or third book, knowing what I know. So yeah. My audiobook right now is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's really good. I think that, me personally, I'm about 45% through. I liked Daisy Jones and the Six the best. I think I would tier rate Taylor Jenkins Reid's books that I've read as Daisy Jones and the Six, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and then Malibu Rising, which I read last year. This one's good. I think it's going to be a 4-star. We'll know more once I actually finish, if it jumps up for me. But yeah, it's a solid read. I'm enjoying it. And then my ebook is The Ruby Circle by Richelle Mead. This is the very last book in the Bloodline series, which is a branch off of Vampire Academy. Overall, the Bloodline series is not as good as the Vampire Academy series. There were 2 books that were really, really good to me, and then the first 3 and then the current one I'm reading were just honestly very mediocre and very YA. I am glad I read the series just because I love Vampire Academy so much. So it's nice to know what happens to Rose and Dimitri later on, and it's nice to know what happens to Adrian and Lisa, Dragomir, and Jill. Like, all the characters I love so much. I want to know more. But it's just not the same. But I'm finishing it off, and it's always really nice to finish a series. So I'm really glad that I've done that. For my ebooks, I like them to be kind of like, I think of like chump change. Like the 3 books I'm reading physical, I want them to be, you know, more like literary and to educate me. My audio, I want it to be super entertaining, so like a really more famous author. And then my ebooks, really it's just to read when I'm like stuck like in a line, or when I'm waiting for an oil change, and I don't know, it's just normally something kind of just easy. Like, I think of like a junk food read. So I have read Red Queen, and then I think it's King's Cage. I have the physical copy of that book. I think I want to read the physical copy. I have King's Cage, and then I'm going to jump over to ebooks for the rest of Victoria Aveyard Red Queen series to kind of, you know, fill in the ebook gap that I have now that I finished the Bloodline series. So those are kind of like my ideas. I am currently outside of a local bar here in San Antonio to meet with my book club to discuss where the Crawdads sing. So that's kind of like what I'm doing. I'm gonna hop off this now, but I wanted to give you an update and start the vlog. And I will see you in my next update. I'm scared. Oh no. I don't like it. Oh no! Get back! Oh my god. How fucking cute are these? Sir, why are you on your plant? Oliver. Sir, what's the dealio? So, update is that I'm at the post office and I'm going to be mailing Amy, my booktube friend, this beautiful piece of art. This little cartoon drawing of this frog. I'm also sending her a Montress bookmark that I got in my last Olympic crate. So I made a bet with her and another one of my friends, Heather. I made a bet that I lost, and I bet this bookmark. So Amy, I really hope you enjoy it. I think you will. It's an absolutely gorgeous bookmark. Just so y'all know, it's Friday. Yesterday it was Thursday, and I was editing all day long. That's all I really did. And my next TBR game is all edited. I decided not to post it today, which it's the first day, because Stranger Things is tonight, and you best believe I will be all up on that. I'm going to be watching Stranger Things all tonight. I worked today and I work tomorrow morning, so hopefully Stranger Things doesn't take too long and I can get some sleep, but I have to wait till my husband gets off work because he would lose his mind if I watched Stranger Things without him. And yeah, I'm gonna go inside. I'm not using my ring light because I've just had a really rough day. It was an awesome day in a lot of ways. I protested for, like, I want pro-choice. I protested the reversal of Roe v. Wade, the fact that that had been overturned by this current Supreme Court. So yeah, I probably put B footage in right now. Worked Friday and Saturday. I think the last update I gave you was on Wednesday or Thursday, and then I worked Friday and Saturday, and today is Sunday, and I spent this morning protesting for my rights. And yeah, I'm just really feeling, I don't know, I'm feeling some kind of way, and I think I'm kind of deciphering what those feelings are. But I'm really glad right now I'm reading Captive Genders, and it's a perfect book to read at this time because it talks a lot about the Vanguard and Stonewall protests at the beginning of the LBGT movement, and how people, you know, went from not having a community to making an LBGT community. On Saturday, I also was involved in some volunteer work for abortion rights as well. So I've been super like focused on that, and it's been heavy. It's been real heavy. But I'm also very passionate about my booktube channel. I'm passionate to be part of this community. And hello. Hi guys. I am currently also reading The Handmaid's Tale. I will be picking that book up and finishing that book once I get to my first donut tab here. So let's see. The section I'm currently reading is called, it's the first one, it's called Out of Time. And it says from gay liberation to prison abolition. I can't talk. I've been holding a poster for hours, so I didn't take into account how sore my arm is. And now I'm holding a phone. Maybe the ring light would have been a good idea, but oh well. Stanley writes from the perspective that prisons are made in a system that's systematically racist and homophobic. He is African American as well as queer. Stop. Oh my god, trying to talk about this while my cat is literally trying to destroy wires connected to important devices in this house is very difficult. But anyways, the thing that I'm really taking from the book though is taking into account when our governmental systems like the police and the FBI discredited movements, and it makes you think, you know, to question what is deemed criminal or who is deemed bad in our justice systems. And yeah, these are all things I'm, you know, it's making me think and making me have, you know, these thought processes, and it's important. I'm really glad I'm reading this book. Well, maybe I think the solution couldn't be to abolish prisons. It makes me really have to look into the eye of the storm. Like, a lot of our systems aren't working. Okay, so what are we gonna do about it? And while that may feel like an impossible question, it's a question to be had because people are suffering every day, and it's not fair to them. We shouldn't let them down just because it's inconvenient to think about. Like, we have to make a better world. So that's where I'm at, and I'll update you probably soon. vlog, and the whole entire reason why I wanted to make this vlog was to show that I did honor my punishment, and I watched Creepshow with my husband, and yeah, it was definitely a punishment. I hate horror movies, but I watched it and it's done, and I finished a lot of books though, and that was great. And yeah, Beck's Book signing off. Love y'all. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Okay, bye.